Keep it clean, keep it dirty. The impact that impacts trust. Carrying the load. Manipulation, boundaries, and covert contracts. The emergency poop story. Erectile dysfunction. Keep it clean, keep it dirty. Welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys. This is going to be a fun episode.
I know what this is about.
You know what it's about? Do you want intro?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Okay. I don't know if I'm as good as introing as you, but so we were out one night. We like to go on dates. It's one of the things that we teach you guys to do. And we ran into this couple. I actually saw them at the bar. So we were sitting, eating some cheese, having some wine, and I saw this older couple come in and they were flirting like crazy. Now she was dressed to the nines, short skirt, heels, lipstick, platinum blonde hair, dyed on top of her white hair, I think. Mm-hmm. And they were just flirting. And so she was paying for the wine and he said something like, he tried to pay and he said, yeah, I want to get lucky tonight. And she's like, oh, he will. And they were like joking in front of the bartender.
And when she says old, guys, okay, she's 76 and he's 77.
Yeah, old, okay. You guys,
yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Like I say, we're old, but I mean like white hair. So Cass goes outside and I'm waiting for him and I'm just kind of playing on my phone, whatever. And he comes in and he goes, let's move our stuff outside. I met the coolest old couple. And I was like, okay, let's go outside. I love to be social. I don't care how old you are, but as long as you're cool, I want to hang out and talk to you. So we went outside and we were talking to them and they said, we have two. So we got into what we do for a living.
Well, and hold on, like before you get in, because I think you're just about to say the rules, but they've been married for 50 years. They met when they were 12. Okay. They both dated a few other people and then 50 years together now straight.
And I assumed when I saw them at the bar that they were some old people that maybe were on their second marriage because they were so on fire for each other. I was like, you don't see couples like this.
Yeah, that's why I started talking to them when I was outside because you could just, the way that they were interacting and everything like that, that's when I did say, I love this because actually that's what it was. I heard them or saw them interacting and then I said, I got to tell you guys, I'm a marriage coach. My wife and I, we do this for a living and you guys are something special. It is so wonderful to watch you. And that's when they started to share their story. And then I got Kathryn, of course, and we got more of it, but.
Yes. So I missed the first part because I was inside and they were outside. But can I talk about what he said, the first piece of advice he said?
Yeah. So they
each had a piece of advice that they wanted to share.
I think you said, so hey, guys, 50 years together, what is your number one rule to make a marriage last? And then?
He said, treat every day like it's your first date. So treat your wife like it's the first time you're taking her out. You pay for her dinner. You open her door. You make sure you smell nice. You look nice. You treat her with kind words.
He talked about manners. Like he was just everything you do on the first date.
To impress your wife.
Because think about it. Like if they wouldn't want to go on a second date, you're doing something wrong. So that's his golden rule. Okay?
Mm-hmm. And I think we do a pretty good job of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the time we treat each other like we would have in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Of course, we could probably get a little bit better. I think it's a good reminder for everybody, even if you have a great marriage like we do, which if you're listening to us, you probably don't. But even if you do and you just want to get that last margin better, if you think about it that way, you're on your best behavior. You're smiling. There's no contempt. You don't brush the person off. You don't give them the cold shoulder. You're happy, just like you are in your regular life. But I was talking to somebody this morning, my personal trainer actually, and I was so my real personal trainer just had a baby, and so her fiance has been training me.
Sounds like the other one's your fake personal trainer.
Well, he's a substitute personal trainer. He's still real, but her fiance has to spend some time with her because they have a brand new baby. She had a C-section. And so there's a different personal trainer that I've been working with. And so we've been talking about when is she going to come back? We're all excited for Jessie to come back and James coming back. That's the fiance. And we talked about how they might, as much as she needs help at home, they also need to make sure they are having their own time and having alone time. And she needs to learn how to take care of the baby by himself. And he needs to be able to excuse himself from the house if they both had a sleepless night so that they don't get down each other's throats because familiarity breeds contempt. All of that to say, that's what happens in marriage. You don't treat your spouse like your best friend anymore. You're familiar, and then all of a sudden you think that you can be short, but you wouldn't be short with anybody else.
Man, we take each other for granted. You
right.
Start focusing on criticizing and blaming versus, this is like what I would call stage 2 of a marriage, right? After the honeymoon phase, where you focus on the criticism, the blame. You don't do all those things that you did in the honeymoon phase where you really were interested and on your quote unquote best behavior. That's why it's important, Kathryn recognizes with you guys and saying, like, we do like a 90% job of always being our best behavior. We were just talking about one of our daughters is a little bit tooty these days, okay? And
like farts a lot.
Yeah, and we were talking about this with some of Kathryn's team is in town. We were talking about this with passing gas and doing this in front of, and it's like a thing I teach, right? I have to teach men, well, if you want your wife to like go down there, then you can't smell in the vicinity. So don't just be gross and fart in front of her. It's also manners. It's gentlemanly. It's like all these things, right? We were having this conversation, and that's what we're talking about. People take all of it for granted. That's okay. Everybody farts, so it's all good. No.
To be clear, the conversation went from correcting our daughter to teaching manners to adults.
Correct. Yeah.
So different, but we're teaching her at a young age. You should excuse yourself so you don't gross everybody else out. Okay. So then can I go into the next piece of advice? So the first one was treat every day like your first date. Now, her piece of advice, this is what the episode is named, keep it clean, keep it dirty. Keep the fights clean and the sex dirty.
I mean, this woman was hilarious.
Oh, hilarious.
I mean, she was talking about going out on like the sex nights and always kids that have a separate room like we would teach you guys.
They have sex 33 times per month. They're 71,000 years old, you guys.
71,000.
Honestly.
Yeah, and they were talking about a lot of things that we would teach you guys. Like go away. Your kids can have a nanny or an older sibling or whatever in the adjoining room or the room next door, and she said it, she spelled it out. She was like, yeah, because I can have sex at home. If I'm not having sex on my holiday, then I'm not fucking going. Right? Like everything went back to shit.
If I can't have sex, I'm not going.
Yeah, she was talking about having sex outside. Oh, we had sex 3 days ago outside in the public. You got to keep it spicy, keep it dirty, But she was adamant. You got to keep the fights clean. No,
yes.
Why I think this goes so well together, even though they had their own rules. We didn't talk about this, but I think it's so important because when she was talking about keeping the fights clean, you see the foundation for the cleanliness is there if you follow his rule of treating every day like it's the first date. The foundation, because as we start to slip, then we start to go down those negative, dirty fights, not the clean fights. And you know our story, you know your story, we've all been there. But this is a couple that has nailed it. Literally, like I believe they would have told us, oh, there was years that we blah, blah, blah. There was years that, he was in that. I think they would have told us all that if that happened.
I think they did say it hasn't always been this way, but they worked for it.
Oh, I don't think so, but maybe I missed it. But the point is, even so, like you learn from people who've been through it, like you guys learning from us, right? So regardless, that is like the time-tested and true rules I think that we should all just adopt, because there is no sex, never mind dirty sex, if you don't have clean fights and if you can't stop dating each other, loving each other, appreciating each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
This one's getting like crazy.
I tried to tell him for years when we would have these dirty fights, this isn't helping. This is turning me off. This is making me not love you. I didn't say that last one, but I was like, do you remember how often I would say, this is not helping. This is doing the opposite of what you want to happen. Because he talks about like the pouty rage when you don't get sex. And I would say, this is contributing to the exact thing that you're talking about. So not having your fights be dirty is so important to have connection, because you can fight. Fighting is normal, and repairing after a fight is so connecting. But dirty fights, you can't take some of that shit back.
It's really important to understand this, guys, because a lot of you have been listening from the beginning, and if you haven't, you should start. You'll watch the progression of our marriage. You'll see how we talk about each other and the sex life, and how we talk about things is changing every day rapidly now. Like it's this whole new level. I would say this in this last year. But we also said that the year before, right? So
every year it gets better. Every month it gets better.
Yeah.
That's what you guys should all want.
You got to strive for the fact of, like Kathryn said, get that last little bit earlier in the beginning of the episode. It looks like there's always more, and it's super thrilling. It's super exciting. But keep in mind, we don't have expectations for more. It just is unfolding, and it's super exciting.
Yeah.
Then we can shut this camera off and get real super exciting. Okay,
Keep it dirty, guys.
Keep it dirty. No, bye.
Bye.